Look, there's so many more topics I would love to dive into, but we're almost out of time. So I'll ask you as a badge nerd to gaze into your crystal ball. So I always love to ask questions at the end around predictions. So in terms of open recognition and again the past 15 years of badging technology, but obviously recognition goes well back before that. But then looking forward, so where do you think we'll be with open recognition in the next 3 5 years? Pick a time frame. Yeah.
Well, I was working on a project a couple of years back for ILO, the International Training Center, the ILO, and recommending that they add well, they asked for it, recommending a sort of a non-formal, informal add-on to their sort of credentialing framework, which is not ECTS, but quite formal.
Hmm.
So I was doing that and laying it on there, and I was talking about so basically there was a presentation around it, and I developed a slide that I still use that I was just using in a webinar for the C3 webinar series back in March. And it was basically, it puts the different players out there. You have the individuals, individuals, candidates, you have employers, you have educators, and I included policymakers and funders. And they all have, we're all trying to make a world a better place.
Hmm.
And we all have these ideas about how things can be structured. And yet, Margot and Wendy Palmer, her colleague Wendy Palmer, like talking about the messy middle. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's this mess. So I think what's really exciting is the AI part of that, because I was in essence, looking forward to AI as sort of helping that with things trained with some structure. So, for example, competency frameworks, the skills from the Australian training system and things like that. But then the mess of whatever you're doing
Hmm.
and ways of interpreting that. So finding your way in that messy middle. I'm starting to see that with the skills we're in. It's early days yet, right? It's
Yeah.
not perfect yet. And I think things are going to happen in smaller areas first and sort of expand out from there with really good use cases and ways of learning from that. But I think a lot of it is more than technologies. People have to understand it's that skills literacy issue. In other words, talking about skills, talking about performance in a way that makes sense, that's not based on a course. It's based on, okay, what have you done? What can you do for me? And how can you demonstrate that? And how can you, once you're with me, how can you get better at what you're doing? And can I help you? Can I help you do that? So, for example, we're working with manufacturing consortium here in Canada, and they have this what's sometimes called work applied learning, which is basically we're making an improvement in the workplace, and
Yeah.
we're going to build a team around it. So it could be what they sometimes call a Kaizen blitz in manufacturing, right?
Right.
You get a team, you identify a problem, current state, future state. Okay, let's solve those problems, and people come away from it having learned a ton. The company is better, so it's learned,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah, and it's authentic. It's not just a course. So that's my dream, and I'm starting to see it happen as I've been saying.
That's wonderful. And again, you've touched on this as well, but then looking at individuals and their journey from the learn to earn life cycle and process, and it is a lifelong, or should be a lifelong one, right? A life wide. So where do you see? Yeah, what would you love to see for Canada as well
Yeah,
as putting a global lens on that?
more heutagogs, and the fact that most people won't know what I meant when I said that is a case in point. Heutagog is somebody who can navigate their own learning, knows where they're at, have gone through that, knows themselves, knows where they want to go, knows what can help get them there, knows where they need the help, where they
Mm.
can do it themselves, and can work up to it. Now, in Canada, it's more of a mess because British North America Act means we have 13 different jurisdictions for education. Um, so we don't have a qualifications framework that works across the country. Things like that. But what I'd love to see, and actually wearing my CAPLA hat, we're hopeful that we can look into the feasibility of it, is applying a practical competency framework like the one in Scotland, the SCQF, because
Mm.
it spans academia and the workplace, and bringing some elements of that to provide a structure in Canada where things can be placed. So my colleague Jeff Griffiths, who's with the Canada West Foundation, like he wrote back in 2017, you can sort of match up and you can migrate your skills because you have this overarching framework and people kind of know where you're at. And people are talking somewhat the same language and or using crosswalks when
Right.
they're not. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, I love that vision, and yeah, thank you so much for sharing your history and what you're working on today, and your dreams for the future. And certainly, yeah, very exciting for me to learn a number of things today. And yeah, really appreciate that, and wonderful to have you as a friend and partner. So thank you so much for your
Thank
time
you.
today, Don.
And maybe I can lure you to Europe one of these days.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yes. Yeah.
All
Wonderful.
right.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Don.
Thanks very much, Dan.